Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about specifically Donald Trump's actual opponent in the 2020 U.S. presidential primary election. Okay? So, who is Donald Trump's actual opponent in the 2020 U.S. presidential primary election? Well, it certainly isn't Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden. Okay, I would say that now they are. What's the best way to say it? They're metaphorically opponents. I don't think they're literally opponents, okay? So Bernie Sanders does have a 1% chance of beating Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, he's got double of that. He's got a 2% chance of beating Donald Trump, okay? Donald Trump is not only running unopposed in the Republican primaries, he's essentially running unopposed in the election, the 2020 U.S. presidential primary election. But he does have an emergent, real opponent who has just emerged, okay? Now, who is that opponent? Well, let's talk about it. I've been very careful about talking about this previously. I'm going to be very careful about talking about it now. It is the global health crisis, coronavirus. All right. Now, before we go a step further, let me talk about coronavirus and the delicacy of this, the delicateness of this subject. So, one, this is a disease, and it's like coronavirus. Well, it's a virus. It's a virus which is impacting people, and people are dying, right, all over the world, and even in America. So first and foremost, my condolences to everyone who has been impacted by coronavirus. All right, if you've lost anyone to coronavirus, or if your life has been impacted by coronavirus, my condolences to you, and I've sincerely feel very bad that has happened to you, and I hope that that you are blessed in some other way to make up for that, and that coronavirus does not impact your life further. I truly hope for that, right? Now, at this point, going forward, I'm going to talk about coronavirus as a political element, which it is, okay? But that could seem insensitive, right? I don't want to be insensitive in any way, but coronavirus is very factually a political element in that its existence in the world is going to affect politics on multiple nations. So I'm going to talk about coronavirus going forward in this video at the macro level as a political element, okay? So I just want to let you know I in no way intend to offend anyone or be insensitive in any way. If I'm not successful in being sensitive and being respectful, please let me know in the comments below. That's not my intent, and I'm more than willing to learn. All right, so let's go forward. Okay. All right, so I think that coronavirus is actually Donald Trump's only real opponent in the 2020 election, okay? And it is a very serious opponent. It is starting to affect America's success, right? Already, America is starting to have less success. Basically, Donald Trump has put a chicken in every pot. That's a fact. And the reality is now coronavirus is coming along, and people are going, hey, they're looking sideways at the chicken. They're like, oh boy, maybe I need a new chicken. People are concerned about what they have, what they're going to have in the future. People are getting worried. They're looking around. They're like, hey, we got a really good deal here in America. We got an awesome supply chain. We got everything we need. And now things are starting to look shaky, right? So coronavirus, and that's the thing, is Donald Trump, he spews out a ton of nonsense. Behavior-wise, speech-wise. He does a lot of terrible things. And people are more than willing to put up with it because he delivers. Okay, he delivers judges, he delivers excuse me, employment, he delivers and he delivers money for everybody, like lower taxes, all kinds of stuff, right? He delivers for his base, okay? And that's one of the reasons why he's been so successful, right? Well, if coronavirus is lowering the stock market and is impacting the economy, all that bad behavior that people were more than willing to overlook suddenly becomes into the spotlight, and that ain't good for Trump. That is not good for Trump. Coronavirus is a far more dangerous opponent than Bernie and Joe combined. Okay, and in my opinion, it is Donald Trump's only real opponent in this coming election, without a doubt. There's no question. Okay, and if things get really bad, especially over the next few months, if the right, if shiny people start showing up after a life exit, and they just keep putting their shiny faces on the cameras, whoo, it could get real bad for Trump. So it is a very real thing. Now, the other strange thing is, J. Scott Garibay just got his first impact from coronavirus. Okay, I have been impacted from coronavirus at this point. Okay, now it's a very light impact, but it's an impact nonetheless. I was very excited about going to see No Time to Die, the James Bond movie. I see all the James Bond movies. I really enjoy them. I'm a fan of James Bond, especially this new James Bond, Craig. Oh, why am I blanking on his last name? Sorry. But the current James Bond, I really like him a lot. He's very good, he's fantastic. I also really liked him in Knives Out. If you haven't seen Knives Out, check that out. It's a fantastic film. But I'm a very big fan of the James Bond movies, and so I was really excited. Well, they just pushed that release back to November, so I'm not going to get to go see my James Bond movie. That is an impact to me from coronavirus. J. Scott Garibay has been impacted by coronavirus. Now that, and like before, there was zero impact to me from coronavirus. Coronavirus was a spectacle, right? I was just like, oh my goodness, look at that. That looks frightening, but it didn't have any impact on my life. But now I have lost something from coronavirus, right? And here's the thing, right? This is the way the world works now. Like, other nations are like, oh my goodness, we have real impact from coronavirus. Like, people are having life exits. They're like by the thousands. This is a very bad situation, right? And they, tears are being shed, real sorrow, real tragedy, right? But in America, minor inconveniences, but that's all it takes to get Americans upset. Like, just minor inconveniences is all it takes to get Americans upset, because we just live in this incredible, like, Andrew Yang. I can't stop talking about him. I miss him so much, and I truly miss the future that we would have had underneath him, as president. Just the presidency of Andrew Yang, I think, would have just been a magical time. But even like, we have so much in America that Americans were like, $1,000 a month for life? Nah, I don't need it. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. It is. That's shocking. Like, it's just like, what? Like, so it really is incredible. Oh boy, it's so sad that we lost the opportunity of having such a great leader. But here we are, right? So, but the reality is, the first thing that I have lost personally is I'm not going to get to see my James Bond movie until November. By then, I don't know. Like, am I still going to care about James Bond in November? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But, and so the thing is, if I'm starting to feel the pain now, Americans very well might really start to feel the pain. And this coronavirus could emerge as the real opponent that Donald Trump did not expect. And I will say, I don't think he's particularly poised to deal well with it. I don't really think he has a lot in his back pocket to deal with this overall problem. He could be in for a world of hurt. Like, this could be a very serious problem. So I, for one, am very sad that the No Time to Die is not going to release in America. That is a very deep cut, from this situation. I know others have suffered much worse, but regardless, we're starting to feel the pains of coronavirus in America, and I think there are a lot of other impacts that are about to hit, and all of those, I think, are going to hit are going to hurt Donald Trump, and very well may make it so that there's a gap, so that whoever is the Democrat nominee, whether that is Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, or Tulsi Gabbard, they could shoot through that gap. That is very, very, very fascinating. I'm fascinated by that. So, very, very interesting. I hope, and I just want to end this by saying, again, if you're out there and you've been impacted by coronavirus, I am an evangelical Christian. I'm going to be praying for you and for the rest of the world. I am praying now that this coronavirus is going to recede, or that we will have some very, very smart scientist who brings forward a cure. Thank you very much for letting me share these ideas with you today. Let me know what you think. Who do you think Donald Trump's true opponent is right now? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.